Okay, just for something a little bit different, this video is just going to be a bit of a rant. I'm not actually feeling angry right now at all. I feel completely normal, but I just want to take this opportunity to say some of the things that really get my goat, for want of a better term. I've probably done something similar to this a while back, but hell, why not do it again? That's one of the beauties of YouTube. You can do this, and it really doesn't matter. But what I would like you to do is share some of your issues below, and also if there's anything that really bugs you, and if anything I say you can relate to. Just some things I want to say. This is not heavy political issues. It's not sort of world affairs or anything like that. This is down to earth sort of issues. Okay, so here it goes. These are just things that really get on my nerves, and I think it's just annoying, really. So this is not in any particular order. Okay, when you invite people to a party, and I've been at parties and I've hosted parties like this, whereby people, I hope none of my guests are watching, but yeah, whereby people turn up and there's just like a reluctance to eat anything or drink anything. You know, as a host, you sort of put things on, and as a host, I always try to make it applicable to everyone. So I have vegetarian dishes, I have non-alcoholic drinks. I try to make it applicable to everyone who's there. But even then, for some strange reason, people seem to think that it is, and it could be a cultural thing. I've had a lot of international guests, but they seem to think it's polite to not eat, or that they eat before they go out, which is, even when you say, please don't eat, we've got a party, we've got food here. It really bugs me because A, it wastes the food. Okay, the host can eat it afterwards, but you know, the host doesn't want to eat all the food themselves. But B, it's just, I think it's very rude when someone has made the effort to try and to prepare things and then you just don't eat them. It's extremely rude and very annoying. Because as a host, you don't want to be too fussy. You don't want to say, oh, hurry up, eat up, eat up, eat up. You don't want to be like that. But at the same time, you don't want a big spread to be on and people are just sitting there and thinking, what do we do? When you're trying to make it clear, make yourself at home. Help yourself to food. That's something that really annoys me. So yeah, that's something that would be quite high on my list. Okay, parents who can't control their children. There's nothing more annoying when you are trying to get photographs developed, or you're in a coffee shop, or doing something, minding your own business, and someone's child comes up and sort of interferes with your bag, or you know, sort of tugs at your clothes, or just basically interferes in your space in a way that adults would know is not acceptable. Now, it's not the children I blame, and I'm okay with children. Hell, I've worked with children, but in that sort of social situation, it is different because it's very hard to tell off someone else's child. So it is absolutely their parents' responsibility. And most parents are reasonable, and they will say something. They'll be there, oh, come back, or you know, leave the man alone, or something like that. But some parents think it's cute, and they'll just stand there and laugh, or they won't do anything to stop it, and it is bloody annoying because you cannot tell off someone else's child, and my goodness, if you did, they would really, you'd see another side to that parent. But I think it is profoundly selfish and just really, so it's just a case of you know, having children is a really big responsible thing. So that means controlling your children in public and not letting them run around and annoy other members of the public. It's not. This isn't to say keep them on leads and sort of, you know, but young children don't know social etiquette in the same way. So it is the parents' responsibility. Okay, the same applies to dogs. I know that sounds bad comparing children to dogs, but it really does. When I'm in a public park and I see a dog running around, that's okay, it's good to give the dog exercise, but when I walk my dog, and then someone else just sets their dog off the leash. Now to me it's common sense when someone else is coming with their dog to put your dog on the lead. And actually it's one of the rules in my local park at least. That's common sense because dogs Even if dog gets on well with other animals, you can't predict that. You know, at any point it could flip with another dog. So I think it's extremely selfish, and again, it comes down to the responsibility of the owner. Don't just let your dog walk everywhere. Sure, give it exercise, but if another dog is around, then put it on the lead. And again, there's this sort of mentality a lot of people have, a bit like with their children. Oh, my little pooch can do no wrong, or my child can do no wrong. That's their perspective, but even if that's the case, it's just a polite, normal thing to do. Sure, give it exercise, but put it on the lead. Next rant. Talking in the cinema. Now, I've had a few problems with this, and just to be clear, I'm not so puritanical as to say it should be absolute graveyard silence from beginning to end. Especially in certain films like a comedy, you would expect some audience interaction. Of course you would, in something like a comedy. And, you know, things like if people have crisps or drinks, I'm not so puritanical that I would expect them to make no noise whatsoever. However, what is annoying is when there's a persistent issue. I've been in situations where I've been sat next to a couple who argued the whole way through the film. I wish at the time I'd been more assertive. That was my regret, that I didn't say more. I sort of gave them sort of sharp stares, like you know, trying to give them a hint. I wish I'd actually just said something or went to one of the security people to have them kicked out. Because the problem is it ruins it for the rest of the audience. And these people are just piss ignorant. It really bugs me. They can't plead any excuses. It's just so arrogant and so obnoxious and so antisocial. If you're going to do that, then don't go to the cinema. And again, I'm not saying absolute silence. I don't mind if someone whispers to their friend, you know, maybe they recognise an actor from another film, and maybe a little bit like that every 25, 30 minutes, but when you have it every few minutes, it is just, shut up. And you really want to grab them and say, shut up. Okay, when things are not clearly marked, when you go into a shop and you want to buy something, and the shopkeeper hasn't bothered putting a price on it. Now, I appreciate they work hard, and maybe, you know, they have a lot of items to go through, so maybe it's a genuine mistake, but it is still annoying, because then, for example, if you presume, okay, well, I'm guessing this is about 70 pence, and actually it's more, and you don't have the right change, then it just creates an awkward situation. It's a decent thing to do, in my opinion, to just put the price. If I was operating a business, I would make that very clear. You know, it's just common sense. If someone wants to buy something, they should know how much it is. So that annoys me. False advertising annoys me. When you see things in little print, when things are just badly advertised and it's misleading. For example, if something is supposed to close at a certain time and the people organise it just say, oh, we'll close an hour early, but we won't bother telling anyone, I think that's wrong. If you have information clearly saying closing time 5 PM, and they decide to just close at 4, and I'm not talking about bad weather or something like that, I'm talking about if they're bored and they just want to go home. I think it's unfair, because you know, it's just misleading. And the same applies to, I actually know a bus company whereby they will sometimes leave 10 minutes early than the stated time. Now that just is, I think that's wrong, because of course people should try to be on time, but they should leave at the set time. If you advertise something, you should stick to it. Otherwise, don't advertise it, because it's misleading and it puts people out. What else? Oh yeah, when you're clearly in a bad mood about something and someone gets really patronizing and sort of tells you to calm down. Now, okay, I get it. No one likes to see an angry person. It's not a pleasant thing. And the angry person, especially if they're taking it out on someone else, then okay, tell them to calm down. But one thing that is really annoying is if you're finding, for example, a particular endeavour difficult, or you're really experiencing big problems, especially if it's a technical thing, and then someone comes and says, oh, it's easy, anyone could do that, I'll show you. How patronising. Those people need to accept that different people find different things easy or difficult. Some people are good at technology, others aren't. Just because you think it's easy doesn't mean it is for that person. So it's a very annoying thing when they come in and say, oh, it's really easy. Or just when, when someone contradicts you just for the sake of doing it. Like if you think something's expensive and someone chirps in and says, oh, that's dead cheap. Maybe that's their opinion, but I don't think it's necessary to contradict someone in that way. You have to respect other people's sort of opinion and not try to counter their opinion just for the sake of it. And I think I'm basically round up now. Political correctness bugs me. A lot of things bug me, but then I'm going to get into the realm of more serious issues. I don't want to do that. So let me know below what things annoy you. Oh, one more while we're at it. If you're on a bus and someone is really loud on their mobile phone, and they let the whole bus hear, or the whole other forms of transport, transit train, for example, and they let the whole everyone else know. Some people just don't seem to be aware that their conversation is really loud, and they don't seem to care who hears it. And I just think it's very obnoxious. People who don't control the sort of intonation, and they just want the whole world to hear the conversation. I think that's really quite arrogant. Okay, I'm sure there'll be more where these came from, but that'll do for now. Let me know what yours are.